SlumG blinked at the bright white ceiling, his thick curls barely visible in the stream's first tentative frame. A soft, almost accidental re-entry into the world he'd been missing and dreading in equal measure. The humid quiet of his hotel room pressed in, interrupted only by the familiar digital chorus. NU11Y's meme-laced greetings, Mankini's dry relief, Taysmom's gentle, happy you are back up, all swirling together in a show of warmth that somehow felt tinged with caution. Every message buzzed with a nervous energy, celebratory but wary, as if the entire chat was holding its breath, waiting to see if the old rhythms would return or fracture under the weight of something unspoken. As SlumG adjusted his straw hat and turned the camera toward the city's tangled streets, he felt both welcomed and scrutinized. A traveler caught in the act of coming home to a place that might not believe in homecomings anymore. Even the city outside, its neon shop signs, distant shouts, and indifferent sky, seemed to whisper, is this really business as usual, or just another bluff waiting to be called? The restaurant's warm lights flickered over SlumG's face just as the bot's metallic cheer cut through the clatter. Anonymous just tipped 50 Ozirolish PogChamp. The room seemed to freeze. Then chat detonated. Taysmom's legend emotes in a storm of New 11Y's celebratory memes. Mankini's rare gratitude breaking through with, oh shiz, I just saw that there ex-dude. For a split second, SlumG's chest tightened with relief, almost giddy at the outpouring. But suspicion crashed in just as quickly, the air thickening with questions. Who would tip like that, and why now? He glanced at the doorway, half expecting a stranger to step in with a sly wink, while the chat celebration twisted into speculation. Motive memes, half jokes about laundering and inside jobs, and whispers that every show of generosity was just another riddle. Between the cheers, SlumG caught his own reflection in the glass, smiling, yes, but searching for sincerity in a room where every applause might be the opening move of a bluff. As the restaurant's noise swelled and ebbed around him, SlumG felt the world tilt. Chat's cheers, mutating into a cacophony of jabs and inside jokes. Rock 17-on-2's taunt about the Sony family scam looping in his head, like a jingle you can't shake. John, what's going on? Ever the city's gossip sentinel, leaned out from the pharmacy across the street, eyebrows arched. Heard Deepak went to your house, eh? The words landed like a dare, and suddenly, every face in the crowd seemed in on the punchline, every tip a secret handshake in a game whose rules kept changing. Even New 11Y, who only hours before had spammed hearts, now dropped cryptic memes and sly asides about alt accounts, eyes darting between screens as if scanning for traitors in a spy film. And in the shadowed corner, Athenaliv's voice cut through, mocking, half serious, reminding SlumG that in this city of rumors, every act of kindness could be refiled as evidence, every moment of camaraderie, another possible con. For a fleeting second, SlumG longed to believe in the warmth of the lights and laughter. But the suspicion was already under his skin, leaving him smiling at strangers and wondering who among them was rooting for him, who was just waiting for the next fall. A humid haze clung to the city as reality began to buckle under the weight of chat's endless conjecture. Each message, a pebble flicked into SlumG's already turbulent mind. At one table, New 11Y, caught off guard by a sudden lag in his meme supply, faltered just long enough for a hint of real concern to flicker across his face before burying it under another volley of conspiracy emojis. View botting for sure, bro? Or is it just the Bellabox Mafia again? Overhead, Calyptica leaned over her rooftop railing, eyes shining with cryptic certainty, murmuring about an energy shift in the air, as if she alone could trace the fault lines in SlumG's luck. Even Hoffmaster 83, pausing mid-rant about the virtues of bottle gourd, looked up with a rare, almost fatherly softness. "Eat well, man. Not everyone here's out to poison you," he grunted, before grinning and slipping back into his usual routine. Somewhere in all this swirl, SlumG tried to steady himself, squeezing the worn edge of his menu, searching the lively faces and neon-lit windows for some anchor. But every attempt to push back, to clarify, to assert what was real, was drowned by the absurd chorus, rooftop mystics, vegetable evangelists, and meme brokers, all arguing over who controlled the narrative, leaving SlumG to wonder if certainty was ever possible, or if the only honest move was to laugh and let the spiral spin him out. On the rooftop, SlumG stood motionless beneath the indifferent glow of the moon, its light splintering over the ragged cityscape that stretched into midnight's haze. The streets below buzzed with soft neon and the faint, ever-present hum of far-off scooters. But up here, the chatter had receded to a distant static, just flickers of suspicion in the dark. He watched his own reflection ghosted in the hotel window, straw hat askew, maroon shirt half-lit, dinner's warmth fading from his limbs. For a moment, he let himself imagine a world outside the stream's relentless guessing game. A world where Calyptica's murmured energy shifts were harmless, where Taysmom's careful concern was just kindness, and where NU11I, somewhere in the web of city lights, paused from spinning memes and whispered, "I hope you're actually okay, man." But the city offered no answers, only the cold comfort of distance and the quiet ache of wanting someone, anyone, to cut through the absurdity and say, without irony or agenda, that he wasn't alone. As midnight thickened over Nagercoil, the conspiracy engine ran hot. Tony 1974 fired off desperate pleas about unseen allies and Deepak's alleged betrayals, while Kumquat's 6666 wove tales of secret house gatherings, and SlumG's father laughing over chai with a crowd of digital double agents. The city outside his window seemed to pulse in time with the chat's clamor, each cluster of rooftop lights a suggestion that someone, somewhere, was watching him, maybe even plotting. SlumG's heart hammered in his chest. He tried to type out a denial or a joke, but his fingers hovered, useless, above the glowing screen, caught between the comfort of belonging and the dread of being their next punchline. He caught a glimpse of himself, straw hat slipping, eyes wide and uncertain, in the reflection of the hotel lamp, and for a moment, let himself yearn for a single, unfiltered truth, something untouched by meme or motive. Yet as the stories twisted higher, and even New 11Y's banter faltered into a quiet, "You good?" in the feed, SlumG recognized the futility of fighting the spiral. He was just a player in their fevered game. His own doubts, now indistinguishable from the city's late-night haze. Outside, the city had begun to exhale. Nagercoil's lights glimmered in subdued constellations, quietly illuminating rows of rooftops, palm trees leaning into the warm hush. The chat, once a frantic tide, ebbed into gentle check-ins. NU11Y's emotes slipped into a soft, "still with you," while Taysmom, half hidden at the reception desk, pressed an extra towel into SlumG's hand and murmured, "Rest easy, hero." Inside the hotel room, SlumG lingered by the window, caught between relief and a hollow ache for something real. The laughter and accusations from earlier now echoing in his head like a half-remembered dream. Suspicion still curled at the edges of every gesture, but so did a battered, absurd hope that tomorrow's spiral might hold new jokes, new allies, or even a rare moment of honest connection. With the city at rest and the night's fever fading, he closed his eyes, letting the unresolved hum of paranoia and humor cradle him, knowing as the rooftop lights blinked on and off that the performance would begin again with the dawn.